How much do y'all want to bet that Stephanie is going to end up pregnant and having another baby with Drew for content purposes? Okay, so apparently Stephanie was holding like a bottle of those gummy prenatal vitamins, and I can't remember if it was a sub-only video or just one of the videos on her pages, but she's holding it and people are speculating that she's going to try for another baby with Drew. It makes total sense because if you're pregnant and you're a woman and you have children, you get more assistance, and also it's going to cause more engagement for them on their TikToks. Now, I find it funny that Stephanie went and deleted all the videos about her and Drew having more and more and more kids as they get like bigger on TikTok, and about their breeding clink, if that makes sense to you. But the ones that know and have been following them and watching them for a while, y'all know what I'm talking about. It's giving very much 19 kids and counting. Yeah, that's what it's giving.
Alright y'all, buckle up because today's story is one of those where the deeper you dig, the more outrageous it gets. We're talking about Stephanie Jenkins, yes, the TikTok mom of 5 who might be plotting to have a baby number 6. And the reason, well, it's not just baby fever, it's a messy cocktail of government assistance, internet clout, and what some are calling plain old manipulation. So let's unpack it. So here's what got people talking and honestly concerned. Stephanie Jenkins might be planning to have another baby. And no, it doesn't look like a decision rooted in love, stability, or even a desire to build a healthy family. It looks like a calculated move, one that ties directly into government checks and social media traction. This isn't just gossip, it's what Stephanie herself hinted at. During a sub-only live stream, she made a comment that stopped people in their tracks. She said she would have had more kids if she met Drew earlier.
Me and Drew were together like way before we definitely would have more kids. Oh yeah, Sharon, how do you know? How do you know what I do? Maybe I don't share all of my life.
Now, hold up. She and Drew already have 2 kids together, and they have only been together for 3 years. 3. That means in just 3 years, they went from meeting to raising 2 kids, on top of the ones she already had. And when they met, they weren't even financially stable. They were living in a cramped 1-bedroom apartment, barely scraping by. Still, they went ahead and added to the family. That choice alone already raised some serious questions. So when she says she would have had even more kids if Drew came into her life sooner, it doesn't sound like a cute little what if. It sounds like a not so stable window into her thought process. A process that clearly isn't held back by financial reality, living conditions, or the well-being of the children she already has. It sounds like she's planning, or at least seriously considering, bringing more kids into the picture, not for their sake, but for what they can bring her. More babies mean more benefits, more sympathy, more comments, more clicks, and maybe, just maybe, more money.
Can we stop supporting this terrible, terrible mom? Those poor kids.
Let's talk receipts because yes, Stephanie's left a few. In one of her recent videos, viewers spotted a bottle of prenatal vitamin. Now, look, to be fair, taking prenatal doesn't actually mean you're trying to conceive. A lot of women take them while breastfeeding, and Stephanie is currently nursing her 4-month-old. So that could explain it. But let's be honest, this isn't just any mom we're talking about. This is Stephanie Jenkins, someone who has openly expressed baby fever in ways that feel less maternal and more strategic. Let's not forget, in a now deleted video, she flat out said she wanted to have as many babies as Drew could give her. And the way she said it, it wasn't sweet, it wasn't emotional, it was practical, like a mission statement. That's not just a flippant comment. That's a whole philosophy, a pattern, a plan. Even while living out of motels, even while her kids are squished into tight spaces, even while struggling to provide basic stability, she still talks about expanding the family, like it's something to be proud of, or worse, something to capitalize on. And that's what really hits. It's not about nurturing, it's not about building a strong family foundation, it's about leveraging the idea of motherhood for something else entirely. More sympathy, more outrage, more traffic to her TikTok, more checks. Whether from the government or social media, it's not just about having kids, it's about using them, or at least that's what it looks like.
Kids do not just need love to be happy. Trauma, unfortunately, in this life is inevitable. I try to do everything I can to protect my kids from it. Saying that your kids are happy as long as they're with their mom and their dad, that's traumatic to think about, first of all. Your kids don't even know where they're going to be sleeping tonight. At least if you were with your mom, they know that they had a warm bed every single night. Have you never heard of Maslow's hierarchy? Probably not, because not a lot going on up there. But the first level in order to achieve happiness is achieving basic survival necessities, which includes a bed, a roof over your head, food, all of those kinds of things.
So when you see those prenatal vitamins on the counter, paired with her history of oversharing baby plans and deleting content that sparks backlash, it doesn't feel random. It feels calculated. And honestly, it feels like a warning shot that another pregnancy might just be part of her next content arch. Let's get into the real mechanics behind this whole theory. Because once you break it down, it really starts to look like a system that's being gamed, not just navigated. Stephanie and Drew live in Oregon. And in that state, government assistance programs like TANF, Temporary Assistance for Needy Families, and SNAP, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, operate on a pretty straightforward rule. The more people in your household, the more help you get. It sounds like a fair setup, right? Designed to support struggling families. But when you realize how this formula can be twisted, things get a lot murkier. Now here's where it gets wild. Their TikTok income not reported. They don't have traditional jobs. That means, at least on paper, they qualify as low-income earners. Drew has reportedly claimed some sort of illness that keeps him from working, which likely helped them sail right through the eligibility criteria. And when you look at the numbers, it's kind of shocking. SNAP in Oregon, a single person can receive up to $291,000 per month for food. A household of 3, $766,000. Now, for a family of 7, like the Jenkins, you are looking at roughly $1,780 per month. Add another baby, the numbers only go up. TANF. This one gives cash assistance. A family of 3 with no income can get $506 a month. A family of 7, that bumps it up to $1,181,000. And yes, if you add an 8th person, that number increases again. So in plain English, Stephanie and Drew are looking at almost $3,000 a month between these two programs without working a single traditional job. And that doesn't even factor in other possible programs like Medicaid, WIC, or housing vouchers. And it's not just the money. Bigger family size can mean priority in housing programs, more flexibility in applying for aid. It opens doors, and when your entire online persona is built on being the struggling mom with too many kids, those doors lead to both sympathy and viral engagement. It's not just surviving anymore, it's about stretching the system for clout and cash. And that's what makes this so upsetting for people watching from the outside, especially parents who are actually struggling to make ends meet while trying their best with 1 or 2 kids. Because for the Jenkins, 5 kids already places them in the sweet spot. 1 more and they're riding that maximum benefit train even longer. And all while their followers and the government keep footing the bill. Let's be honest, if Stephanie is planning another baby, it's not coming from a place of warmth or genuine desire to expand her family out of love. This feels different. This feels cold, strategic, calculated. It gives less new life and more new loophole. Why? Because in a recent video, Stephanie openly admitted something that should have raised alarm bell. She's scared their benefits might stop soon. She said it with a signature half-joking, half-dramatic tone she always uses when she's low-key serious but trying to play it off. But what does that tell us? That she's aware the clock might be ticking on the free ride. And she's thinking ahead. So now, think of what another baby really means for her. Pregnancy status equals public sympathy and protected benefits. Infant equals automatic boost in government aid. Content equals viral TikToks, new hashtags, more people watching. Excuse equals rock solid defense for why she can't work, needs help, and shouldn't be judged. It's like pressing reset on the sympathy meter. A newborn isn't just a child in Stephanie's world. It's an asset, a marketing tool, a social media storyline, and a financial buffer. And when you lay it all out like that, it doesn't just feel wrong, it feels predatory. This isn't a story of a mom making do. It's a story of someone weaponizing motherhood and using it to manipulate every system around her. From the government to her audience, calculated, absolutely. But caring? That's up for debate. Now, let's talk content, because if you've ever scrolled through Stephanie's TikTok, you already know the vibes. Her entire brand is built on chaos, and not just any chaos. It's the kind of chaos that tugs on people's emotions. Struggle, sadness, shock. That's her formula. She leans heavily on rage bait and pity views, curating a feed where her children are constantly in the spotlight, but not in a way that uplifts them. No, it's about showcasing their worst moments, their toughest days, and the cluttered rooms, the tears, the motel ceilings. And for what? Views, engagement, monetization? But here's the thing. While the audience is clicking, commenting, and sharing, the kids, they're not seeing any of that benefit. If Stephanie really cared about her children's well-being, her first viral video, the one that put her on the map, would have been a turning point. She had the internet's attention. She had the momentum. That could have been her moment to change everything, to use that money for a permanent home, a better environment, maybe even therapy for the trauma the kids have faced. But what happened instead? Nothing changed. They stayed in the motel, stayed in survival mode. The money, it didn't go into building a future. It went into creating more chaos, because that's what performs best online. That's what keeps people watching. So when people say that another baby would be just content for her, they are not being dramatic. They are being real. Because everything about Stephanie's content suggests that childbirth isn't a sacred moment for her anymore. It's a storyline, a fresh wave of views, another chapter in the struggling mom narrative that she's made her brand. And that's the most heartbreaking part, that these kids aren't just being raised in instability, that they're being broadcast through it, filmed in it, exploited by it. So yeah, adding another baby to the mix wouldn't be a surprise. It would be consistent, it would be on brand, and it would be another monetized milestone in a saga where the only people winning are those ones behind the camera. The biggest question is, will this plan actually work, or will it all come crashing down? Because if Stephanie really does have another child, it opens the door to a whole new level of scrutiny. Will the government keep handing out benefits without question, like it's candy on Halloween? Or will someone finally take notice and say, this is enough, this is abuse of the system? And what about the internet, her audience, TikTok? Will they keep eating it up, boasting her content every time she cries into the camera, every time she posts a shaky, emotional video of the motel bathroom, baby on her lap, begging for sympathy? Or will they finally call it what it is, a cycle of exploitation that only continues because people are clicking? Will TikTok ever implement real protections for children being used as emotional props for clout? Then there is the loophole game. Stephanie has proven time and time again that she knows how to find the gray areas. She knows how to spin things, how to justify every move with half-truths and just doing what I can to survive narratives. And if no one calls it out, what's stopping her from doing it again? From turning motherhood into a hassle, from seeing every new baby as a way to reset the sympathy clock and stretch the checks. Only time will tell how this plays out, but let's be real. If this is her strategy, it has nothing to do with parenting. This isn't about building a family. It's about building a following, a brand, a monthly payout. And all of it, every dollar, every view is built on the backs of children who never asked to be part of this circus. So what do you think? Is Stephanie Jenkins just a struggling mom trying her best? Or is she knowingly exploiting her situation for clicks, coins, and government checks? Drop your thoughts below. Like and subscribe for more truth, tea, and TikTok takedowns. This story isn't over, and trust me, we'll be watching.